and welcome back to Gapey's Grow Tent. So this is where I've got all of the fig cuttings, and it's been 2 months since I started the 10 varieties that I got in the mail, and this is all that's left, is just the ones in this tray here. So I have lost a few more since the last update a month ago, and I'll show you what I've got left. I've got the Dalmatia, and there's no leaf growth on that one, which is a bummer, and also the root growth. I'm not seeing any nice looking roots. There's some kind of old, thin, skinny roots in there that you can kind of see there, but they're very brittle. I repotted all of these fig cuttings into Pro Mix because the mix that they were originally started in, I think, was just bad because the roots just did not grow like they should. But I had started out, if you didn't see my original cutting video, I started out with the peat moss, perlite, and cocoa coir mix, and I think one of those ingredients was bad because it just did not do well. So I repotted all of these into Pro Mix, and some of them didn't make the transfer, and others are doing okay. So this one here is the Mora de Caneva, and that one has some leaf growth there on the top, but I think it did lose. I think there might have been some leaves here along the stem there, but I think some of them fell off. But the new growth seems to be doing okay so far. But let's take a look at the roots here. So you can see some nice new roots that are starting to come out there. See if we can turn this around. So that's what we want to see there, is those really nice thick white roots. So they never got roots like that in the previous mix. So that's what it should look like. So that one is starting to get some of those, which is a really good sign. And then we've got 2 of the Negronis left. So there's a little bit of growth. One thing I don't know if this is this variety or not, but the Negroni seems to have really tiny fig leaves compared to the other cuttings I have, especially this one here. You can see that little teeny tiny fig leaf there. That's just a really small leaf. But the roots on these, they're pretty small as well. I've got one kind of decent root sticking out there, but that's the only one that I've seen. So it's doing okay, but I would like to see more roots than that. And then this one here, I'm not really seeing any roots, I don't think, on this one. Just a little bit of the old, you can see that little skinny root right there, but not anything that's really nice looking, so I'm a little worried about that one. And then the rest of them are repotted into these big tree pots because they had a little bit bigger roots and the cuttings were a lot thicker. So I decided to go ahead and put them into those pots. This is the Dauphine. It didn't have any green growth or leaves coming out of it. So I'm not sure what's going on with that one. It may not make it, but I'm going to just leave it there for a few more weeks and see what happens. And then I have another Mora de Caneva, so I had one in the cup, and then I've got another one here. But this one is not doing well at all. We've got a lot of the leaves fell off, and then this one is pretty droopy, so I don't think that one's going to make it, unfortunately. And then we've also got the Ronde de Bordeaux. So I had, I think, 3 cuttings of these, and they were all doing really, really well. But so far, this is the only one that made it, and it seems to be doing okay. It's got some nice leaf growth on the top. I don't think it lost any leaves, but it's got 2 nice ones there on the top. So hopefully that one is going to make it. So those are all the ones left from the mail order that I got. And then I got a few more since then. So I've got these 2 in front. These are the Borges Set Gris. And these are ones I actually cut off myself from a plant or a tree that I got from someone in Seattle. So it had a branch that was just in an awkward angle, so I decided to just cut it off the tree. And I made 2 cuttings out of it, and both of them are doing pretty well. I decided to do a vermiculite perlite mix for these, and you can kind of see the roots there. They don't seem to be as nice of roots as the ones that are in the Pro Mix, but they are much better than the peat moss and cocoa coir mix that I had. So this is another one. This one looks a little better. So that's some pretty nice looking roots there. And they both have some pretty good green growth on the top. And then behind that, I've got 3 varieties that I got from Ivy Organics that I actually won on Twitter. So the first 2 here, these are the Strawberry Verte. So that's this one here and this one here. And you might notice the leaf on some of these are kind of blotchy. And I think that's fig Mosaic Virus. And there's not really much you can do about it, but it doesn't seem to really do much damage to the tree or the fruit. So I'm just gonna not worry about it too much. But you can see the roots on these are doing pretty good. We have some nice strong white roots on that one and lots of green growth coming out the top. So a really nice looking one. And then same on this one here. We've got some pretty good looking roots there. That's what we want to see. And we've got one branch coming off there, and it looks like another one is just starting to come out there too. And then also from Ivy Organics, I got a Marseille Black VS, which apparently is really hard to root. And most people use these for grafting, but I don't have a tree to graft onto these, so I decided to try rooting them. But you can see this one here is getting a little bit of green growth, but that doesn't always mean you have roots. So I've been checking these every day, looking for roots, but so far no roots on these guys. But I've got this one here, and I've got another couple of these in my fig bin because they don't have leaf growth. So I leave those in the dark until they start getting leaves, and then I move them to the light. And then we also have the Tiger Panache. So this is a striped fig, and we've got this one in the tree pot, and I just put that in a tree pot I think 2 days ago because the roots were just doing really well, and I decided to go ahead and repot into something a little bit bigger. So it's doing pretty good so far since I repotted it, so hopefully that one is gonna make it. And then this tray over here, I've got a couple of things. This is the Latarula. This is actually the first one that I rooted this year, I think like beginning of January. So it was doing really good at first, and then it had the problem where the leaves started drooping and the roots just looked really bad, so I decided to just start over. I cut the top off of it, and I recut the bottom of it, and I'm trying to re-root it again. And there is one root coming out there, so it does seem to be working. And it looks like there might be some budding out coming out there, but I'm not seeing any in the top node. So hopefully I'll get that to re-root by basically recutting both ends of it. And then we've also got the Latarula. This is actually, I think, the top of the one that I cut off of here. So I decided to try rooting this in water. And I hear that doesn't really work very well, but I'm giving it a try anyway. So there's actually a little bit of, looks like some roots that are trying to poke out there. So I'm not sure when I'm going to put that into potting mix, but I decided to just leave it in the water for a while and see what happens. And then also at the same time, I potted up or started this cutting of a Desert King. And this is my biggest fig cutting in here. So this thing is pretty monstrous. It's got, I think, 9 leaves on it, and I was debating putting it outside in the greenhouse. I might wait another couple weeks before I do that, but I just repotted that from a tree pot into this big, I think it might be a 2-gallon container. I'm not really sure, but I mean, it's doing really good, and I repotted it probably 2 weeks ago, and I haven't had any problem, with the transplanting, so hopefully that one will be a really good one. This is one of the ones that I plan on planting in ground in the backyard. So I've only got space for 3, and that's going to be one of them. I was hoping Latarula was going to be another one. We'll have to see how these do. And then I might do, try and decide on what the third one will be. Probably the Tacoma Violet, which I have in the greenhouse currently. So the last cutting in here is the Nero 600M. And this is another one I actually won on the RFigs forum. And this one, it actually came in the mail in this pot, already rooted, and it's doing actually pretty good. So it's got, the leaves got kind of bent over in shipping, but it's kind of come back pretty good. The leaves are growing pretty close together, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. And it's got 3 branches that are coming out here, so I'm debating if I should cut one of those off or not. But there's one here down the very bottom there. You can see there's one here, and then there's one over there, and then one up here at the top. So we'll just see what happens with that one. But this is one of the varieties I actually had that I got in the mail that ended up not making it. So it was nice to be able to get a replacement for it. So those are all the cuttings in the grow tent. And I'll just show you real quick what I have in the bin here. So this is where I keep them when I first start them and when they don't have any leaves. So we've got in here, this is more of the Marseille black, so these really big fat cuttings. So I've got one there and one there, and there's no leaves coming out on any of these, so that's why I kept them here in the dark. And then this one here is another Desert King, and I just actually recut the both ends off of that one because it wasn't doing very well. So we're gonna give that one another try. And then this one is the Ben's Golden Riverside. So that's one of the ones I got in the mail that ended up dying back. So I'm gonna try the trick to recut both ends and see if I can reroot it. So these are all in Pro Mix, which seems to be the best medium that I've found for starting cuttings. And I've also got some peppers in here, but that's for another video. So that's it for now for the fig cuttings for the 2-month update. Before I go, I thought I would give you a quick look at the 3 figs I have here in the greenhouse. So I got all 3 of these from K2 in Seattle. He's a member of the Our Figs forum. So this is the Bourgassette Gris, and this is the one that I cut off a branch and started rooting that inside. So let me show you where I cut that off at, if I could find it. There it is. So this right here. So the branch was coming out of here and like kind of going off at a weird angle. So I cut that off, and I think it'll do a lot better without that weird branch on it. But so far it's doing really good, has quite a few leaves on it. And then I've got another one over here. This one is the Figo Preto, which I also got from K2. So I just got that one maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it just started leafing out. So this one I got after the other 2, so that's why this one isn't as far along. But from what I understand, people in Seattle, their trees haven't even leafed out yet at all. So this is already well ahead of most of the fig growers out there that don't have a greenhouse. And then the last one I have is Tacoma Violet. So this is the one that I mentioned I'm going to be planting in ground, hopefully. So we've got quite a few nice big leaves at the very top there. It's not getting any branching or anything along the main stem. It's only got the top growth. So I think what I'll do maybe next winter is just top that off so that I can get some branching going on. But anyway, that's all. This one's in a little bit smaller pot than the other 2 because it's a little bit of a younger cutting. But all of these I think were started from cuttings last year. And this one actually says Ben B on it, so I think this might have come from Ben B in Seattle. But those are all the figs that I've got going on right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.